Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was interviewed by Merv Griffin on the Merv Griffin Show. Merv Griffin asked Dr. King a relevant question. He said, "Dr. King, what has been the greatest effect and impact that the civil rights struggle has had on the Negro?" Dr. King paused and said, "Besides the dismantling of barriers that prohibited the Negro from free access, the greatest and the most profound effect that the civil rights struggle had was that it infused in the Negro something that the Negro needed all along. And that was a sense of somebodyness. You will never be able to appreciate what Dr. King meant when he said the Negro needed a sense of somebodyness until you understand the 350 years of nobodyness that was infused into the psyche of people of color. Every sacred document in our history, every hallowed institution conspired to convince the African in America that when God made the African, that God was guilty of creative malfeasance. All of our sacrosanct documents from the Constitution said to the Negro that you're nobody. The Constitution said that we were 3/5 of a person. Decisions by the Supreme Court, like the Dred Scott decision, said to the Negro, to the African, that you had no rights that whites were bound to respect.
When was your first recollection as a child of being a second-class citizen, being treated like one?
More 16th class. They used to always say we're second-class citizens. I used to always say to my mother, I said, "Mama, how come we're second-class citizens? The African can go where I can't go. The Chinese can go where I can't go in America. The Englishman, you can come to white America and set up businesses and do things I can't do. And the Puerto Rican, the Hawaiian, and just about everybody came before the black people and were respected." So I said, so we was just second-class citizens, we'd be doing all right. So we were way down oh man, if we were second-class citizens, we'd be driving all Cadillacs and living good. First class would be driving a Rolls Royce, and we'd still be doing good. No, we way under that. But things are getting much better, but I always wonder when I went to church on Sundays. I've always been one to, I'm not just a boss. I do a lot of reading, a lot of studying, I ask questions, I travel these countries and watch how their people live, and I learn. And I always ask my mother, I said, "Mother, how come is everything white?" I said, "Why is Jesus white with blonde and blue eyes? Why is the Lord's Supper all white men? Angels are white, Pope and Mary and even the angels." I said, "Mother, when we die, do we go to heaven?" She said, "Naturally, we go to heaven." I said, "Well, what happened to all the black angels they took the pictures?" I said, "Oh, I know. It's the white folks is in heaven too, and the black angels were in the kitchen preparing the milk and honey." So listen, you quit saying that. Well, I was always curious, and I always wondered why I had to die to go to heaven. Why I couldn't have pretty cars and good money and nice homes now? Why do I have to wait till I die to get milk and honey? And I said, "Mama, I don't want no milk and honey. I like steaks and I said, "Milk and honey is a laxative anyway. Did they have a lot of bathrooms in heaven?" So anyway, I was always curious. I always wondered why. You know, Tarzan is the king of the jungle in Africa. He was white. White man. I saw this white man swinging around Africa with a diaper on, hollering, "Oh!" Do you all see Tarzan over here?
Right.
Tarzan? And all the Africans, so he's beating them up and breaking the lion's jaw. And here's Tarzan talking to the animals, and the Africans been there for centuries, and he can't talk to the animals. Only Tarzan can talk to the animals. I always wonder why Miss America was always white. All the beautiful brown women in America, beautiful suntans, beautiful shapes, all type complexions, but she always was white. and this world was always white, and this universe was always white. And then they got some stuff called White House cigars, White Swan soap, King White soap, White Cloud tissue paper, White Rain hair rinse, White Tornado flow wax. Everything was white, and the angel food cake was the white cake, and the devil food cake was the chocolate cake. I said, Mama, why is everything white? I always wondered, you know, and the president lived in the White House. And Mary had a little lamb, his feet as white as snow and Snow White. And everything was white. Santa Claus was white. And everything bad was black. The little ugly duckling was a black duck, and the black cat was the bad luck. And if I threaten you, I'm going to blackmail you. I said, Mama, why don't they call it white mail? They lie too. I was always curious, and then this is when I knew something was wrong. Won the Olympic gold medal in Rome, Italy. Olympic champion, the Russian standing right here, and the Pole right here. Is Poland considered a communist country?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm defeating America's so-called threats and enemies. And the flag is going, dun, 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 dun. I'm standing so proud. Dun, 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 dun. And I done hooked the world for America. Dun, 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 dun. I took my gold medal, thought I'd invented something. I said, man, I know I'm going to get my people freedom there. I'm the champion of the whole world, Olympic champion. I know I can eat downtown now. And I went downtown that day, had my big old medal on, and went to restaurants. At that time, black things wasn't integrated. The black folks couldn't eat downtown. And I went downtown, I sat down, and I said, you know, a cup of coffee, hot dog. The lady said, we don't serve Negroes. I was so mad. I said, I don't eat them either. Just give me a couple of hamburgers. You know, I said, I'm the Olympic gold medal. 3 days ago, I fought for this country in Rome. I won the gold medal, and I'm going to eat. The manager, I heard her tell the manager, and he said, well, I'm not the man. Now he's got to go out. Anyway, I didn't raise my hand. They put me out. And I had to leave that restaurant in my hometown where I went to church and served in their Christianity and fought and daddy fought in all the wars. Just wanted to go medal and couldn't eat downtown. I said, something's wrong. And from then on, I've been a Muslim.
Yes, I was going to ask you, in fact, what attracted you to
the truth, the teachings of Elijah Muhammad on how black people have been brainwashed, how they've been taught to love white and hate black, how we've been robbed of our names in slavery, we were robbed of our culture, we were robbed of our true history, so it left us a walking dead man. So you got black people in an all-white country, and they don't know nothing about themselves, they don't speak the language, they're just mentally dead. And this is happening all over the world. But the first place that will rise will be the black people of America, and then the rest of them will. I was one who heard the truth. And when I heard the truth about my name was not Cassius Clay, I know a black man in America named John Hawkins. Now, you know who John Hawkins was. He was a slave trader in England. But the white people at that time, if one had 5 slaves, and his name was Jones, they would be called Jones property. If you was auctioned off to Mr. Smith, your name was Smith, identifying you as property of certain masters. So now that I'm free, now that I'm no longer a slave, then I want a name of my ancestors, Muhammad Ali. Like a Chinese, how would a Chinese look named Robert Smith? How would a German look named Edward Goldberg? A Jewish name. So when I heard that we don't have our names, we don't speak our true Arabic language, we're robbed of Islam, our true religion, and we've been made deaf, dumb, and blind in slavery, and Elijah Muhammad was taught by Allah, who we refer to as God, to teach us the truth that will free us. And when I heard it, I've been free ever since.
Muhammad Ali was a product of a difficult time, and he dared to love black people at a time when black people had a problem loving themselves. He dared to affirm the beauty of blackness. He dared to affirm the power and the capacity of African Americans. He dared to love America's most unloved race. And he loved us all. And we loved him because we knew he loved us. He loved us all. Whether you lived in the suburbs or whether you lived in the slums, whether you lived on the avenue or whether you lived in an alley, whether you came from the penthouse or whether you lived in the projects, whether you came from Morehouse or whether you had no house, whether you were high yellow or boot black, Muhammad Ali loved you. And there are a lot of people who will bet and have bet on Muhammad Ali when he was in the winner's circle. But the masses bet on him while he was still in the mud. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar stood with him when he was in the mud. Jim Brown stood with him when he was in the mud. Bill Russell stood with him when he was in the mud. Howard Cosell stood with him when he was in the mud. Now, please don't mishear me. I am not saying that Muhammad Ali is the property of black people. He is the property of all people. But while he is the property of all people, let us never forget that he is the product of black people in their struggle to be free.